I'm Adrian Saville. It is Lockdown Vlog Day 19, or With Bad Humor Season 2. Through the course of last week's vlogs, I anticipated that South Africa's specific circumstances would oblige us to extend the lockdown. That indeed has come to pass. Our risks and circumstances have added 2 weeks to the lockdown. A second forecast or speculation was that the news would get worse before it gets better. This is hardly a grand forecast given the nature of the environment, but indeed that has been the case. The US announces another 6.6 million jobless claims. That makes for a total of 17 million jobless claims over the course of just 3 weeks. It's a staggering number by any measure. South Africa joined the negative news flow this morning, or added to the negative news flow this morning, with the Minister of Finance revising our economic growth number down from modestly negative to minus 6.1. That is not necessarily news. We've already had a number of economists updating forecasts, including our own forecasts, which pointed to a minus 5, minus 6 number. But it gives a sense of just the depth and extent of the impact of COVID-19 on the South African economy, jobs, industry, and livelihoods. In this very somber environment, maybe 3 pieces of silver lining. The first is from Wuhan itself, which lifted the lockdown on day 76, April 8th. And the evidence coming out of Wuhan and more broadly China is that having slowly returned to work, the return rate has picked up, and automobile sales from the auto industry, JP Morgan data, gives a sense that not only is the recovery V-shaped in auto sales, but that activity might be close to back to normal. I think we can take courage or confidence from at least 2 facets of this. The first is that the recovery has been quick. The second is that although this is auto-specific, the automobile industry has a range of spillovers, multipliers, and linkages that goes up and down supply chains. And that means that the stimulus or the reignition, good auto pun, that's for combustion engine fans, is much more than just the auto industry. So I think that we can take confidence or courage from that V data. A second silver lining, and here I'm going to borrow from a conversation I had with a colleague, Mzamo Mazito, over the weekend. And Mzamo and I were talking about the Rand providing relief to some parts of South African economy and industry. Without question, a weak Rand can help certain firms and certain industries to lead the way in recovery. And we don't want to lose sight of the specific opportunities that may afford us some relief and some recovery as we work our way through COVID-19. And then to make it a full house, a third silver lining, and that is the 1% interest rate cut announced this morning. It's unusual in at least 2 ways. The first is that it's in between meetings, so perhaps that much is self-evident that if you cut in between meetings, it's unusual. But the second unusual aspect is that the Reserve Bank cut by 1%. By convention, the MPC in recent times moves in 0.25% steps. So it would usually take them 4 announcements to get a whole 1% interest rate cut into the system. Here they do it on a Tuesday morning in one big step. The size of the step gives you a sense of just how important policy interventions are in the environment. And hey, if we've done 3 silver linings, let me do 4. A fourth silver lining is that after South Africa's interest rate cut so far this year, we still sit with a central bank rate, a repo rate of 4.25%. That leaves us with a lot of room still to cut interest rates, whereas much of the developed world is sitting with 0% interest rates and nowhere to cut. So some silver linings, a couple of questions. Tomorrow we go to day 20, and to work with our 20 theme, I'm going to explore 10 ways in which we can progress through this crisis more smoothly and 10 things that we can anticipate on the other side of the river in a new world order. Thanks for joining me. Stay safe, stay home. See you tomorrow.